Well, DJ Houshmandzadeh, he gave it his all last night. And the all is on the form of Twitter. As you can see what he said about the referees. He was not happy about the Jamar Chase no call. He was also not happy about the situation, how the game ended with the PI call. And yeah, so he says the refs missed a big call and throws a flag on Chase. Players get fined, but refs get away with a bunch of terrible calls. Now, outside of last night's game, because I'm not going to get too much into that concept, I do believe that comment is very, very true. The refs do get away with a lot of bogus calls, and they don't get, penalized / they don't have to take accountability when they do mess up. And it happens more often than not. We've talked about it many times. Outside of for the Chiefs, because I know Chiefs fans are going to comment already. It's not even about you guys at this point. It's in general, the refs are absolutely garbage. They do miss calls for every single team. And they're atrocious when they miss calls for every single team. And it's to a point where it's almost laughable because we have such great technology nowadays. We have technology that can do anything when it comes to football. Like, we could figure out every little detail and how little details are done and formed, and it's amazing. And yet we still can't get this situation figured out with referees. They still miss over 100,000 missed calls a year, and they change ball games around because of that. Again, at the end of the day, last night happened, whatever. Our rookie did a stupid PI call in the end. It is what it is, okay? We lost the game. Congratulations, Chiefs, you won. But still, this is a problem, and this needs to be fixed. And it's sad part is it won't be, because Roger Goodell has already said that this isn't a problem. He's already said that, hey, listen, if they make 1 million calls a year and miss 100,000, then that's okay. That's okay, because the numbers seem okay. As long as it's only 10% of missed calls, then that's fine. But that 10% of missed calls could cost a game, cost a season, could cost everything. So it's ridiculous, and it happens nonstop, and it's never going to get fixed. It's always going to be a problem. But anyway, he said, give every game to the Chiefs the rest of the season. Refs in the favor every game. Why play the game if we know the results beforehand? And again, last night, on that last PI call, whatever it is, PI, it is what it is. There was also 2 offensive holding calls that should have been called in that play. They held our defensive tackle. Both their 2 guys literally sat there and held him. The other guy literally put a hand to our guy's face. Neither of that was called, but the pass interference was called. Okay, in that situation, it should have been offsetting calls if you really break it down and think about it. It is what it is, though. In that situation, there is holding every single play, right? But at the same time, in that situation, if you're going to call PI, which, okay, I get it, it's PI, then also probably call it offensive holding, because they were holding the defense. And again, like I said, it is what it is at the end of the day. You can't go back and change the results. All you can do is fix things moving forward. And I really do hope eventually we get to a point where an AFC championship game or a division round playoff game or maybe a Super Bowl is impacted by a very, very bad referee call. Like last year, or actually no, 2 years ago with the James Bradbury call. I know some people might be like, well, that should have been the moving point. Not really. It was holding. He did hold. James Bradbury did hold on that play. It was maybe a little bit looser than it should have been, like call-wise, but it was. It's a fact of the matter is, he held the guy. So, it is what it is at the end of the day. Going back and rewatching last night's game, looking at every single play, there's only one real tremendously bad holding call that the Chiefs did not get. It's before halftime. I showed it off in my video. The guy grabs the guy by the neck, and that was not holding in any slightest. I know somebody, I think, commented my video and was like, no, they called holding on that play. They called holding on the play before that, like a drive before that. And I'm talking about this play right here. This is not called holding. If you go back and rewatch it, it's 3rd and 19. Patrick runs the ball for 8 yards, puts it to 4th and 11. They do not call holding on this. They call holding on this on a play that looks like this, like a drive or two ago before this, but it's not called holding on this play. Now, again, looking back at it, you have this missed call right here. You have, obviously, the pass interference that decides the game. which, again, he did run into him. He was there beforehand. It is what it is. But you have the missed holding call there. Those are two key plays in this game that definitely impacted the game in some capacity. Did it change the game completely? No. At the end of the day, the fumble for 6 that we had definitely was atrocious. The missed extra point that we should have made, / we should have went for 2, in all honesty, was absolutely atrocious. We should have did that. We should have used Jordan Battle in the game and, when we lost the defensive tackles, but for some reason, we don't utilize him, right? There's things you can look back and say, we should have did A, B, C, D, E, F, G. For example, the Mike Gesicki catch. If he catches that ball, maybe we don't fumble the ball for 6, okay? Maybe we get a first down, we move the chains, we keep going. We had the ball at the end of the game. All we had to do was go down the field, score a touchdown, and win the game. We could not do it. So, while I don't think, looking last night, I know a lot of people say, well, the refs controlled the game, the ref changed the game completely. I don't think they changed the game as in the aspect of, we could have won the game, but we put it in the referee's hands. And again, like I said, when you do that, you're going to be open for any chance of even the slightest interpretation of a penalty happening. Like, it could be the loosest definition possible, but there's a chance it's going to happen. And in the end, yes, it was frustrating, but again, as I said before, I still am questionable about the PI call, but it's PI. Me personally as a fan, I look at that pass interference on Anthony and I think, oh, come on, man, you can't call in that situation, right? That's going to decide the game. But at the same time, it is pass interference. The guy got there early. He had his left arm, he pinned down. That's pass interference. Now the Chase situation, again, another situation, wasn't as much, I guess, I'd say it wasn't as much of a key situation, but it kind of was in the end if you think about it, because the Chase call, 15 yards, but I believe the Chase call being a 15-yard penalty was because he started yelling at the ref, and then the ref, based on what we understand, said, get the F out of my face. That caused him to get even louder, and that was a separate situation, the 15-yard penalty. That was more Chase just going off on the ref. Again, should there have been a hip drop tackle on the guy on Chase? I don't know about that. I watched it back a million times. I don't really see a hip drop tackle. I think it was a weird tackle. I don't think it was like a dirty tackle, but I think it was definitely a weird tackle. In the moment of watching it, I did think he grabbed his face mask, grabbed his neck. It doesn't look like that's the case in the end. It looks like it was a hip drop tackle that Chase was upset about, and then Chase obviously let his vocal, he was vocal, and then obviously the referee did not like that and threw a flag. So, again, like I said, it is what it is at the end of the day. We got to play better, We got to play better. We can't, because at the end of the day, we can sit here and say, well, the referees. But you're not going to get better from doing that. You're not going to get better by, going through that. You have to sit here and say, okay, what can we do better, right? Mike Gesicki, you got to catch that ball, buddy. You got to make the extra point or go for 2. You got to, you got to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Because this was a winnable game. This was a game we could have won. And we let it slip through our fingertips. So, it is easy to sit there and say, well, the ref shouldn't have let that situation happen in the end with the PI call. Guess what? We shouldn't have put it in that situation. We let that situation become a reality. And in reality, we should have never let that happen. So, we got to do better, and we will. Listen, we have a whole season ahead of us. We are, in my opinion, the second best team in the NFL. And I think we could even be considered the best as we outplayed the Chiefs in this game. But we just got to keep moving forward and keep that kind of, above our head here. We are the team to beat. And we proved it last night. So let's go, boys. Hoo-day. Hoo-day.